So what is the Facebook Ads MBA program, and why is it so much different than, well, everything else that anybody's offering? Well, first off, I want to let you know I really appreciate you spending your time here. I'm going to make it really useful for you. I'm going to explain to you what this whole thing is. So thank you very, very much. Second, if you want to join the Facebook Ads MBA program, you can submit an application at submit.facebookdisruptor.com. All right, let's get into it. So, the Facebook Ads MBA program is unlike anything else available because it really touches on three core concepts. The first one being curriculum. This isn't just a course recorded by somebody that doesn't actually do the work maybe a year or two ago to help you understand what everybody else is saying on the internet right now anyway that doesn't work for anybody at scale to begin with. No. This is a collection of pieces of curriculum to help you manage your account, understand how to project manage your time, create ads that will last for months, if not years, and ultimately grow your business or help you grow accounts for your clients. This isn't a copy and paste strategy that works for some folks somewhere. This is me teaching you, one, how Facebook actually works. How do I know how it works? I spent a couple $100 million on the platform, and my students and clients have driven well over $1 billion in revenue. I've been there since before there was attribution, before there was a pixel. Okay, I introduced lead gen to the market. I was there when DPA got brought in, and I did the case studies to define how to use CBO to do creative testing. I've been around the block a few times with my own brands, with my own agencies, running other brands, running Facebook marketing partners, and being senior at some of the biggest ad agencies in the world with media budgets of over $1 million a day. All of that being said, I'm here to show you how to make it work for you. And a lot of this has way more to do with how you run your business, how you communicate to your clients, how you project manage, and how you use the tools. Because at the end of the day, this isn't a strategy. I'm teaching you how the tool works. An oven will work the same way whether you run a French bakery or an Italian pizzeria. It still functions the same way. There is an objective truth to how it works. I'm going to teach you in the Facebook Ads MBA program objectively how Facebook works. Not a way to get a marketer a higher ROAS so that they can feel good about themselves while the business and their clients suffer. Because again, ROAS and MER, absolute bullshit. We all know that. We can also get to the bottom of that. We need to be measuring for incremental lift. So let me show you how. And really, this curriculum goes through a simple process. It's an onboarding flow to make Facebook turnkey so that eventually it's as easy to manage as a Google ad account or anything else that requires an hour or two of your time a week. That's how much time I put into accounts where I have a 5-figure daily budget. Accounts that I have 3, 4, 5x in the last 100 days. Accounts where I'm spending a couple $100 to over $20,000. And the honest truth is Facebook hasn't actually changed in years. The only real big difference that occurred was around the end of the spring last year with the introduction of TikTok taking so much market share. Facebook started to penalize advertisers who disrespected customer experience as a business model. That's why your interest groups went to even worse performance. That's why smashing retargeting raised your CPMs to $30, $40, $50, $100. Facebook isn't broken. It's just that you were never taught how to properly use the tool. So the curriculum that we cover, which is the first of 3 parts of the program, the other 2 parts being direct support and community, those curriculum that we cover go over the skills of audit and Scrum. How do you audit an account to understand what are liabilities and what are opportunities? And how do we understand where to spend more money and where we should abandon our overall investment? Because the honest truth is very, very Very few brands actually need to be promoting more than one thing. And PSM of offers will tell us that. Our profitable scaling margin will tell us these numbers. Now, it's not just what our audit and our scrum looks like. That's step one, taking inventory of your stock. At that point, we now have to understand, how does the system work? Optimization and simplification to make the machine do its job. There is an objective way the machine works. How do we align the way that we treat it to make sure that we are the best business partner to Facebook, and ultimately the platform can deliver us the results that we want? And a lot of that has to do with not chasing 20 different objectives. A lot of that has to do with stop using ABO and stop using interest groups. A lot of that has to do with running dynamic ads. A lot of it has to do with understanding how to properly use the tool. I can't tell you how many people are effectively trying to run a 5-star restaurant with a microwave and a hammer, and they complain that Facebook doesn't work for them. It's because, honestly, some of the biggest thinkers are folks that were really successful when Facebook was so easy you could do everything wrong, and are now at a place where they're so far removed from actually having to do it right that even doing things poorly lets their business be successful, because their business doesn't need Facebook to work for it to be successful. So this is what we're getting to. Ultimately, understanding what our system looks like. Then how do we make it better? Then we get into testing, golden bear, a branded estimated action rate. How do we align ourselves to be a better business partner to the platform? Then while that's happening, we can adjust our nomenclature, our documentation, our systems, and our process, and ultimately move into strategic and tactical testing, understanding what investment do we need to actually get this thing done? What is our expected outcome? What should we do today? What can wait until later? And ultimately, what does the next week, the next month, the next 90 days, the next year look like? When you start planning your Facebook account today for 3 months from now, you're no longer worried about one bad day of ROAS. First off, because ROAS is nonsense. And two, because things happen every single day. And if you're worried about clients, well, we need to make them work this week. We need to make them work this month. If you were actually just on track to what you're supposed to do in 3 months, your relationship and your churn with that client is going to be a lot better. They're going to trust you, and ultimately you're going to be able to make things work because you're working on a much bigger timeline than today. You're not stressed out about the day-to-day results because you're planning for the next week, the next month, the next year. And you're leveraging only the most important things that need to get done. Whether that is top line growth, bottom line growth, acquisition, profit margins, volume. Different business models have different business needs. So ultimately, there's 9 individual pieces of curriculum that walk you through documentation, system, and process, with video walkthroughs and lecture with questions and answers from other previous students. There's over 30 hours of lecture in there, as well as my How to Build a Winning Facebook Ad Account course, which is a managerial level of what to do with the team, so that you understand the value of post IDs and simplification, retargeting ads if you're going to go that route, or how you ultimately manage a system and a team to deliver an end result. At the end of this, you're going to have a simple source of truth that allows your creative team, your client, your developer, your copywriter, your media buyer, and every other member of your team to understand what their job is, who their dependencies are, who needs to approve certain work, and what the next steps are. Ultimately eliminating hours of communication that does nothing to move forward the bottom line, and allowing you to see where your opportunities are in your business to get better, as well as your team. And ultimately, this makes you more money. And when you're running an agency, it keeps your client on board for months or years longer, instead of trying to prove that you can get a ROAS of a certain thing by today, which honestly doesn't mean anything and might be the absolute worst thing for their bottom line. So not only do you have ultimately 10 pieces of curriculum with over 30 hours of lecture, there's also 10 ebooks to go along with it with video walkthroughs. So just that piece of the curriculum is already over 10 times the volume of learning you're going to get from just about anything else out there. Plus, it's from somebody that literally wrote the best practices on how to use this system after hundreds of millions of dollars in spend and a decade on the platform. It's not somebody that doesn't necessarily even do the work, right? If somebody's a manager of an agency, how much do you think they actually understand about the employee of their employee? Do you really think they have any idea how to get down and dirty and do the actual work? No. And what about a thought leader that's copying information from YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and trying to tell you what's working for them today? I can guarantee you that type of person doesn't have nearly the level of insight over somebody that has made it work for every vertical, every niche, with every business model, because they're not telling you how to use the machine. They're showing you one little simple twist that works for them. But they're ultimately not telling you what the machine does or how to use it. Again, you could bake a beautiful cake, make a beautiful lasagna, but the oven still works the exact same way. If people don't teach you how to use the oven, you're never going to be good at doing more than one thing. What I'm teaching in the Facebook Ads MBA program is how to make Facebook work for literally any business, for literally any vertical, at literally any budget, because you're learning how to think, project manage, and ultimately plan and execute your way out of problem solving for any problem that you face, because you understand how the machine works with objective truth and hundreds of millions of dollars and a decade of experience driving over $1 billion in revenue backing it up. That's just the first part. In addition to that, we have direct support and a community. Now that direct support side, weekly Q&A calls, right? Recorded group classes with lecture and lessons, as well as the opportunity to ask any question you have. In addition to that, there's one-on-one time with me, not some success manager or some other employee or some other nonsense passing you down to some other person that's never built a business, that's never run an agency, that's never been a freelancer, that's basically probably been working even less in the amount of time and money than you have, and you're asking them for help, and all they're going to do is copy and paste say something they saw on Twitter from somebody else that's overworked, underpaid, and has no idea what they're doing. That level of direct mentorship and coaching is above and beyond the value you're going to get from just about anybody else, and is again the second piece of a 3-part system of the Facebook Ads MBA program. The third part, which is potentially the most valuable, because that curriculum is great. And yes, that curriculum, by the way, constantly updating. The oldest lecture in there is less than a year old. The most recent one is from last week. The other part of it is the community. There are dozens of people from around the world that have excelled at a certain thing that are coming to me to help them make Facebook that other pillar in their business. The honest truth is, you can be really, really good at business doing 2 or 3 things at an A+ level, and you can be pretty shit at everything else. There are a lot of people that have come and joined the program who are amazing copywriters or graphic designers. Maybe they're really good salespeople. Maybe they're phenomenal at growing an agency. Maybe they're really, really good at TikTok or at Google or at Google Analytics or at YouTube or at millions of other things. Maybe they're phenomenal at email or influencer. The point is, everybody's weakness was their greatest opportunity. In the Facebook Ads MBA program, the curriculum and the direct support brought them up to make that one of their biggest strengths. What that means is, though, the community, unlike some paid Slack channel from some ad agency where 25-year-old kids that have no clue what they're talking about are copy and pasting stuff from the internet, and you're paying hundreds of dollars a month to get access to that information. along with a whole bunch of other people that are basically just trying to guess and bounce ideas off each other in an echo chamber that every single person is struggling without any ability to give you actionable information, instead of those wastes of time and money that you've probably spent at least hundreds of dollars or months or years being frustrated, because the honest truth is you wouldn't be here right now if that stuff worked. And the honest truth is the Facebook Ads MBA program wouldn't be nearly as successful or popular if half of those ideas weren't complete trash. The community itself is full of people just like you from all over the world. There are 6 continents. So far, I don't have anybody from Antarctica, but I tell you what, as soon as I get one, I'll say 7 and I'll be super proud of it. The point is here, you will get lessons and the ability to ask questions and offer support with your area of expertise to people all over the world, where their expertise might be a lot better than me at a whole bunch of other things. Because you're joining a fellowship of elite marketers from around the world where nobody's trying to sell you something and everybody has a very specific expertise and discipline that they are the best at, or that they are really, really successful and there's probably somebody way better than you at a lot of the things that you're not nearly the best at. I know I can say that about myself. Every single person in that community is way better than me at a lot of stuff. But what they all have in common is the same curriculum, format, nomenclature, strategy, and understanding of how Facebook functions, as well as project management, team, and business development from somebody that they've learned from, because they've all learned from the same place. Plus, they're bringing their life experience and expertise to the table with them. So the Facebook Ads MBA program is not just 10 times or more the amount of anything else you're going to see in some course on the internet from somebody that probably doesn't know what they're talking about, selling you something they probably recorded well over a year ago that sure as hell is never going to be able to answer any of your questions. It's not just one-on-one time with me and group classes as you need them every single week. And it's not just a private community of elite marketers from around the world that you can go to offer support or to ask questions from. It's all of those things for one-time fee. There's no subscription. There's no level of something that you're missing out on. The curriculum is constantly updating and there's new people in the community all the time. I also personally interview every single person that wants to be in the community, and I make sure that they are all the absolute best fit for it. So if you are frustrated with not being able to scale your business or not having the confidence to understand what it is that you need to do, if you don't have a system and a process for your standard operating procedures, if you can't test creative in a way where you get insights on a regular basis all of the time so you're continually making your business better, if you don't have your entire ad account down to a few moving parts that requires a couple hours a week at the absolute maximum, if you don't have a system and process and a business model that doesn't require you, where you can't just leave and literally hand it to somebody else and they're 98% as good as you on day one, then this is probably something that you should really take a look at. Now, ultimately, when it comes down to this, it's about fit. I don't want to sell anybody on this unless it's the absolute best thing for them. I had 3 calls today, and one of them ended with me telling the person, you know what, this isn't the right time for you. That happens all the time. Because the community and this curriculum and our relationship is vitally important. At the end of the day, I do this stuff for 2 reasons. 1, to provide opportunity and growth to a whole bunch of people that are getting scammed by people that aren't that good at their job, charging way too much money to take advantage of other people while they're struggling because they think maybe they're doing a good job or they just found a great way to profiteer off of fear. The other reason is because I get phenomenally better at my job every single day that I get to answer people's questions. And at the end of the day, what's most important is not only does my sword get sharpened on a regular basis, but I'm also building a community of experts around the world where I can go to for support. And you can share in that community, in that fellowship. I'd say it's a brotherhood, but there are powerful women from all over the world. I'd say it's a sisterhood, but there's men from every continent. The point is, if you want to be a part of this, if this sounds good to you, if the idea of another course or another Slack program or another conference or something else full of hacks to see what's working now and all of that other nonsense feels like a waste of your time and you're ready to invest in the rest of your life instead of chasing something that won't work so that you can work harder and harder and harder to get worse and worse results, then the Facebook Ads MBA program might be right for you. If you want to talk to me about it, again, you can go to submit.facebookdisruptor.com and fill out an application. Put some time on my calendar. We're going to have a conversation. I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to learn about you to make sure it's the right fit for you. And if it is, we can go into more detail. And from there, if that's ultimately the best fit, we'll talk about making sure that the money isn't a problem, because by the time you're done the program, money won't ever be a problem again. So that being said, I just want to let you know that I really appreciate your time and I'm here to help. If you ever have any questions, come and find me. I'm always online. And I really want you to know that your success is why I do this. Because at the end of the day, that makes me feel good. When I started, literally nobody knew what to do because nobody had ever done it before. And I see people struggling all the time because they've listened to bad advice from people who legitimately don't know what they're talking about. There are a lot of voices on the internet trying to sell you something. I want to provide you an opportunity, not take money out of your pocket. Because at the end of the day, which I think I've said 4 times, so this day has a lot of things going on during it. What's most important to me is the success of other people, because that success can fundamentally change your life. I'll close with this. 10 years ago, I was a strung out drug addict, unable to keep a job. I started in an ad agency for $10 an hour, and I've worked my way up since then to the point where I've spent hundreds of millions of dollars. And I've been able to have my students and clients drive over $1 billion in revenue. I don't want anybody else to have to go through the struggles that I did to see the success that I have now. And I see people have to give up on their dreams every single day because somebody else that didn't actually give a fuck about them took advantage of them. I don't want that to happen. And I will gladly work every day to undermine everybody else that's trying to take advantage of you. If you want to talk to me, my DMs are open. Go to submit.facebookdisruptor.com. And with that, I'm going to go have some dinner. It is the end of my day, and I'm going to enjoy it with my beautiful wife in my house that I was able to buy in Los Angeles, because I figured out a way to not be a junkie and provide for my family and build opportunity for people around the world. Thank you very much. And until next time, I'll see you on the internet.